Hello, this is Head to Head on UATV, and I'm Alice Gerduk. Ukraine has successfully undergone the audit of the International Maritime Organization. To achieve that result, the country had to meet a number of criteria and requirements. To learn more about the topic, we welcome to the studio Rybis Veskagans, acting CEO at Ukrainian Seaports State Enterprise. Hello, and thank you for joining us today,
Hello.
Mr. Veskagans. So first of all, what was the reason for this audit, and what is this audit about?
You know that the Ukraine is a member of International Maritime Organization already from 1994, and International Maritime Organization is the purpose of this organization is to protect the safety navigation at the sea and environmental issues. Starting from 1994, when Ukraine got the member of that organization, we were part of all discussions which were related to the documents which state need to fulfill this criteria.
But we have never undergone the audit, as far as I understand.
Yes, you are right. That this was the first audit, and we prepared already 1 year for that. And we are really satisfied about the results. So generally, there were only 9 findings and 1 observation found by the auditors from IMO delegation. On average, if we look to the European countries, usually the figure is about 22.
So 22 findings.
Exactly,
okay.
yes.
So they do have kind of some recommendation after the audit result are being published. And we have this 9 recommendations, so to say. What are they about? What are these
findings
about?
are, so in general, is the audit, the purpose of the audit is to check how the state is in line with the criteria, with the conventions like MARPOL, like SOLAS, which are approved by the International Maritime Organization, and how state is fulfilling these conventions. So, and during the audit, they check all documents, all procedures for all of the industry, not only USPA, because Ukrainian Seaport Authority, it's only one organization under the umbrella of Ministry of Infrastructure, responsible for these kind of regulations. And the delegation came for a week. They checked all procedures, all documents, and as a result, there was a draft presented to the Minister of Infrastructure about the 9 findings and 1 observation. So the final document we will receive about a month's time.
Okay.
And then after that, of course, we will prepare the plan, how we will deal with these findings and observations to increase the internal procedures in the country to be more efficient relating to these conventions.
Okay, so we don't know yet. We will know it. We will get to know in a month.
The details we will get in a month's time, yes.
Okay, but at the same time, we have a lot of problems on our sea coast due to Russian aggression and the occupation of Crimea. Well, in the Azov Sea, our 2 ports in Berdansk and Mariupol suffer from the restrictions that Russia puts on the ship movement through the Kerch Strait. The Kerch Bridge is basically illegally built and is functioning. Does this somehow contradicts or go along with this audit, or is this audit basically the audit and the topic of Russian aggression and the occupation of Crimea are not really into the same sphere?
Yes, this is not really into the same sphere because, as I said already, that there was a scope of audit which was related to the particular topics and not related to the, let's say, the port development issues related on the Azov Sea. At the same time, I would like to underline that in the port industry, especially in the port sector, there was 0 findings and observations. So I'm very proud of that our ports are on the same rank as the ports worldwide. And this is more, let's say, the reputation and image purpose. And we can be sure that this additional signal that in the port industry, the investment climate is safe, that the ports are safe, and also we are in line with worldwide environmental regulations related to IMO requirements.
But then where were these findings discovered?
It was detailed, as I said. We will receive it in a month's time, and then we can, let's say, talk how to improve these findings. But getting back to your question, that in a port industry, in a port sector, we are in line with European ports, and of course this is a very good and successful result. Of course, ports are very different because we have ports on Danube River, we have ports mainly near the Odessa region and also on Azov Sea. And I would like to say that there are different business issues, different infrastructure projects should be developed, that we are moving forward the port development in each of the ports.
What are the most prospective ones?
We should look to the port industry as a part of logistic chain. So
Ukraine has 13 ports, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And could you be more precise about the projects?
As I said already, the ports are very different. We have ports where the total turnover is just 50,000 tons per year. And the biggest port of Yuzhny, they did last year more than 42 million tons. And so in these biggest ports, which are mainly related on the, we call it Big Odessa region, and Nikolaev, yes, they do about 85 to 90% from all of the ports. But this is a part of big transport chain where Ukraine can compete. I mean, from Europe to Asia, from Asia to Europe. At the same time, also, this is a very important support for the Ukrainian importers and especially exporters, because last year from 133 million tons, more than 100 million tons, this were export of the grain, of raw materials and all goods. And that's why we need to concentrate on, let's say, big ports, like Yuzhny, like Chernomorsk, like Odessa, Nikolaev, where we can serve the biggest ships which are able to come to Black Sea. So you know that there is a Bosphor channel which is restricted, that there are the ships, only Cape-size vessels can come. And the first priority is to develop exactly these ports, which I named, to be able to serve in a port the vessels up to 250,000 tons.
But could you, so you say that ports are basically enriching the Ukrainian treasury.
Yes.
But could you compare the situation before 2014 and after 2014 nowadays? Does the conflict reflect on basically on the shipment and on the amount of funds circulating in ports?
Yes, definitely. Of course, that first of all, we see that if we look, let's say, 10 years back, that the cargo volume was close to 180 million tons comparing to 133. So there was a transit volume coming from the Russian country to via Ukrainian ports. But due to geopolitical reasons, we see that this transit volumes are getting down. And I personally do not think that we need to rely that these volumes will come back. So we need to find a new cargo. We need to find with the transit cargo on also, for instance, One Belt, One Road initiative coming from China, and to somehow to find the new volumes. And also, of course, to be much more efficient also for the local exporters and importers, like I said, that they can load bigger ships and to be competitive with other producers from Brazil, from Australia, with the goods which are in the segment where they are competing.
Why haven't we developing this sector now? I mean, up until now?
Because there was a lack of capital. Because the reform was done just in 2013, where there was a split of the in the ports. There was a split of the main two operations. So the port administration was established with the strategic development requirements to develop the harbor water area and strategic assets and the stevedoring companies. So and we started to develop the ports on the European to get them on European level. At the same time, there was no let's say privatization of state stevedores, and we see that the state stevedoring companies, they lose in a competition to private operators, and that's why we hope that sooner or later this year there will be finally acceptance of the new concession law, which allows us to successfully to do the concession projects of state stevedoring companies to get new investors and to attract them to the port industry. And then, of course, this will be as a part of capital injection in the industry.
Of course.
From not only state stevedoring state side, but also from the private business.
Well, Ukraine needs foreign investments in all parts of its business and economy. You mentioned that Ukraine has to build new, new ties with other countries about the cargo transportation and stuff. Are there any successful ideas or projects in mind about the passenger transportation?
The passenger transportation, yes. If you analyze the passenger transportation, unfortunately, because of this conflict, the cruise ships, they are not, I mean the big ones, which are representing, were using the ports, especially in Odessa before 2013, are not coming to Black Sea. So because they evaluation of the risk to come here is higher than the business they can get here, and also because of the conflict in Crimea, so they cannot use their ports and Ukrainian ports. And that's for this kind of business. Usually you should have very close ports. It's not business oriented services right now. So that's why we should concentrate on smaller ships. And we are trying to develop also the river tourism. So we have quite a good increase to, for instance, on Danube River, where the cruise ships are coming from the Austria, from Germany, down to beautiful part of Bessarabia in Ukraine. And this kind of tourism, step by step, I think we will successfully develop.
Well, to conclude this conversation, these IMO audit, what does it give to Ukraine?
For us, definitely.
Yeah, this first time, like this first try and having already a successful result, I mean, are we proving that we are a maritime country, or what is it about?
First of all, I definitely think that Ukraine is a maritime country because
despite the war
even
going
in terms of seamen, because we have more than 100 seamen in the country, we should be part of this IMO family. So we need to be more active and to be presented in a headquarters in London as well, and what we do on usually basis. And also this audit, this gives us a security that we are on the necessary level to develop the ports, to attract investments, and that the investment climate in the Ukrainian ports is in line with IMO regulations.
Well, let's hope that this investment climate will only increase. And thank you so much for your interesting comments. That was Raivis Vetskagans, acting CEO at Ukrainian Seaport State Enterprise. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Olis Gerduk. Goodbye.